welcome to Therapy Book Thursday, and happy Thanksgiving for anybody watching here in America. We are celebrating Thanksgiving today, and I wanted to hop on here and do my usual Therapy Book Thursday for you. And if you're watching today on Thanksgiving, great. If you end up watching this at a later time, that is totally fine as well. I hope you enjoy your holiday today and you get to spend time with whoever you feel is important to you, and that you're able to focus on Thanksgiving and gratitude and love and support, and hopefully you're in a good environment where you're able to do that. And grief can also happen on these big holidays where we're missing somebody or something or some place that we love and miss. And so it's also okay to set aside some time to think about that person or place and remember the good things about them. If it's a person you're missing today and you haven't yet celebrated, you could save a seat for them at the table, and you could have a place setting with a plate and fork and knife and napkin. And that's just to recognize that they would be there, but they're not here anymore. And they're right here in your heart and in your mind where you remember them and think about them. So today's story is a different perspective on grief. This is not about somebody who has died, but about somebody that is moving or leaving the place that she grew up in and loved because of war. But this is also a way that we experience grief, and you can use the things that she talks about in this book. You can do them for anything: a person that you love, a place, a relationship that has changed, like if your parents got divorced or moved, that can be something that you could do activities with, and this book can relate to that as well. So today we are going to read The Map of Good Memories by Fran Nuño and illustrated by Zuzanna Celej. And I hope I said those correctly. Here's a little map. And on the inside covers there. The Map of Good Memories. Zoe had lived in the city since she was born. Now, because of the war, she had to flee with her family and take refuge in another country. The night before she left, she decided to do a little experiment. She spread out a map of the city on the table and started to mark all of the places where she had spent her happiest times in the 10 years of her life. We have Zoe's house, Grandma's house, the square, the school, the beautiful court, the bookshop, the park benches, the ice cream parlor, the park, the swings, the library, the kiosk, the city center, the supermarket, the train station, the cinema, the funicular, the Northwoods, the old factory, Daddy's office, the North Bridge, and I think I got them all. First, she marked the house where she lived. Here, she had learned to walk and spoken her first words. Her room had always been a wonderful place, full of games and daydreams. Her home had become a place full of good memories. Then she marked the place where she was at the particular moment, her school. While she did it, she ran through the names of her teachers and her favorite classmates. She'd been at school for so long, but Zoe was never bored, and she loved learning new things every day. Then she marked the library and the bookshop, which were still in her neighborhood. They were two places she absolutely loved. The people who worked there introduced her to books that filled her with all different kinds of emotions. Their shelves were full of real treasures. The park in the middle of the city was another place of good memories. Its trees and bushes made her feel like she was in another world. It was an island of green filled with different kinds of animals. She spent many Sunday mornings there, playing on the swings, listening to people playing music, and riding her bike. Zoe loved going to the movies, so she drew a circle around her favorite cinema and remembered all the films she'd enjoyed there. She also thought about the candy counter, the big seats, the lady who showed you to your seat and the flashlight, and the magic of the big screen. The river was also marked on her map. Her favorite place was next to the North Bridge, where sometimes she could see fish in the water and a family of ducks who loved eating crumbs of bread. She kept going until she had marked all the places that made her feel happy. After looking at the points scattered over the map, she started to connect them with a red pencil, in the order she had discovered them throughout her life. She wanted to know what kind of shape would appear by joining all the good memories together. When she looked up, Zoe could not believe what she saw. Let's find out. What do you see there? What does that say? The shape on the map made the letters of her name, Zoe. Zoe didn't know if this had happened by accident or if it meant something. Perhaps it was the city's way of saying goodbye to her. What she did know is that wherever she went, all of the wonderful memories she had would always be with her. Zoe tucked the map of good memories neatly into her suitcase. It was the map of a city she was sure she'd return to one day. The end. I thought this was a really good book to talk about, and just how she went about remembering and drawing and connecting the dots for her memories before she left. And sometimes we can do this with the people we love, especially if maybe they're really sick. We can write down their memories and share things with them, get pictures with them. Sometimes we don't know when somebody we love is going to die, and that can make it a little more difficult, but we can do very similar things. You can create a box or a memory jar or a photo album of all the things you remember and shared with your loved one before they died, and that is kind of like Zoe's memory map. You could do that too in many different ways. There's no wrong way to create a memory map or a memory box. You can do it in whatever way works best for you. Sometimes we remember things just by sharing them out loud, having a conversation, talking about them with people. Maybe you talk about your mom with your friend if your mom died. And yeah, maybe you'll have some tears and maybe it will be sad, and that's okay, because it feels good to talk about the people that we love and to remember them and to share how much you love them with somebody else. So I hope you enjoyed this book today. As always, it can be found on my Amazon list with all the other books that I read for Therapy Book Thursday. I hope you are having or going to have a wonderful Thanksgiving today. Thank you for joining me on this holiday, and I will see you again next week for Therapy Book Thursday.